You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 12th meeting for the Long Beach Building Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
This is the regularly scheduled Long Beach Building Commission meeting for June 12th, 2026. We'll call the meeting to order at 1:02. First order of business is roll call. Honor? Pete?
Yep.
Neil French is not here. Bob LeMay?
Here.
Ellen Lynch?
Here.
Anita Remages?
Present.
Joy Schmidt?
Here.
I have to take Carter off. He's not here anymore. And Larry, I'm here. First order of business would be the approval of the minutes from the May meeting, which Honor sent out, I think, 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Anita. Any Joy.
Sound alike.
Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up is the Commissioner's Report. For May, we had 45 permits with construction costs of $2,561,136, which generated fees of $28,135.37. I don't know where the 37 cents came from. There's probably a calculation error on no, I get it right off the site. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Any questions or comments on the Commissioner's Report? Old business, MS4, nothing to report. Coastal resiliency groups, we're still waiting for the completed report from the Army Corps of Engineers and the DNR Coastal Resiliency Team.
What were they going to recommend? Who's the topic?
We met with them. No, I met with them. This is a different thing than we did 2 years ago. Michigan City and Long Beach, the Army Corps of Engineers contacted us through the DNR, through Joe Excel, who is with the coastal management people from the DNR, and asked if we would be interested in participating in a study that the Army Corps was doing to look at what's happening with erosion, what's happening with accretion on the lakefront. And Michigan City agreed, we agreed. I've met with both the DNR, Joe Excel, the DNR team, and the Army Corps of Engineers team twice. And we have provided mainly from the 2019-2020 timeframe when we had that storm on Halloween night in 2019 through 2020, where we had all the bad erosion on the lakefront. We talked about that. We talked about I sent them photos. We also talked about the accretion issues that we're having with sand that we haven't seen, at least I haven't, in 62 years here. I've never seen sand blow up on Lakeshore Drive like it has. So they're looking at that, and they're going to try to come up with some type of recommendations or guidelines for both the town of Long Beach and the city of Michigan City. They may be working with other lakefront communities, but I know that just Michigan City and the town of Long Beach were the ones involved with them on this particular go-around.
Is this something that, if the recommendation was made, it would be the responsibility of Long Beach budget, or is this an Army Corps of Engineers budget?
Is his mic on?
I'm not positive, Pete, but I think what they're looking at is, number one, what can they do to help? And number two, the funding sources that might be available if they were to come up with some recommendations.
Because, as you know, when we had the Halloween storm, we got no help from anybody.
Right.
LaPorte County, the state, Corps of Engineers. It was our responsibility and our responsibility alone. So if we're going to get into that again, I don't know why we're dealing with this, but that's up to you.
Any other discussion on that? Next up is line item 10, which is 2220 Oriole Trail. Honor, do you have the permit number? I left it off there.
Troy has it, 497.
497. Sorry about that. What they're doing there, I'll bring it up on iWorks.
Why are you bringing it up? Did they pay all their fines?
Yes. It was on the agenda for the last meeting, but they had started the work already. And the building commission declined the permit or denied the permit based on outstanding fines and starting the work before the permit was issued. So,
Was this a second time or? this-
No, first time.
First time. Just as an aside, Joy, there's been a lot of tree work on this property. Have you guys checked that out? Make sure it's not down trees, and if it's, can,
We don't have any control. Private property at this time.
but if it's on town property,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Ellen's head of the tree board.
okay, if you guys have been looking at it, fine. And is there still an issue with the oak tree blight?
Yes,
Okay, well, there's still a lot of tree work going around. My understanding was you weren't supposed to do any tree work on oaks during the warm period. It can only be done what was below freezing. Is that something we monitor, or, because there's a lot of it going on?
It should only be in the fall when it goes dormant, whatever disease the oak might have. And that is something that Indiana and the DNR puts out, but the tree board has no say-so over anything on private property. We do put in the newsletter how it's really bad to do that. You could end up losing all your oaks if you take one oak, you know, the oak, the blight, and
So,
that's why we do our tree cutting in the fall too,
so why can't we control that? Why?
because it's private property.
Yes, but
it's on the agenda for the next council meeting.
to the
Yeah,
summertime chopping,
yes, the whole trees on private property.
okay? Is something been proposed, or are you just starting it?
Starting.
Just starting, we have, our starting point is the Valpo ordinance, which is really strict.
Okay, so I have the permit number 497 up. This is the, well, let me see if I'll explain what they're doing first. So this is the existing, this is the entryway right now. This is what they're proposing. They're proposing to square that off and extend the entryway. There's a drawing here that shows where they're going 15-foot 10 and 10-foot 8. I think there's a site plan here as well.
So the street is at the bottom of the drawing?
Yes.
That's within the setback or
Yeah, I'm bringing that up right now. So this is the site plan. It is 12'8" from the east property line. And it's is that 48 from the front? Is that what that is? It's 48 foot from the front property line. So it's within the setbacks. I'm pretty sure they've got a lot coverage sheet here too.
Doesn't appear to be close. Right, I think it was on the side of the lot.
Here it is. So the lot coverage, you don't have the sidewalks in here?
Are they removing the existing sidewalk that comes off the driveway up to the side of that? Thank you.
So you're removing the existing walk and you're not putting it back?
You have to come up to the microphone, otherwise nobody can hear you on the recording. Is that okay, Larry?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Anita.
Gotta hit the button on there too. The light comes up.
It's green now.
Yeah, that's good. Just tell us who you are, Greg.
I'm Greg Deutscher with Deutscher Construction LLC.
So you're putting a new walk back in?
Yeah, we're tearing out the existing walk and we're putting a new walk in. It's going to be probably half of what the existing is. We're not
Okay.
don't know exactly what it is because we don't have everything in there, but it's going to be probably half of what the existing walk is because the
right,
existing walk
so-
goes all the way to the back.
So here's what the coverage is right now. At 35%, you'd have 4,200 square feet available. You've got 3,600 plus the walks. So what we'd like you to do, or I'm sure that the building commission would like you to do, is give us what those sidewalks are. And if they're within the 35%, everything else that we see appears to be in good shape.
It's probably going to be 20 foot by 4 foot would be 80 square feet.
Right, what has to happen is you guys have to calculate that.
Okay,
And then you have to upload that into the, everything is done electronically. It's the only way we can keep records. So what we
Well, I've been
ask
in
you to
this-
do is figure out what it is.
I'm not the electronic type of guy. I've been in this business
I know you're
for
not.
50 years.
I know you're not.
Computers
And
are
you know who else isn't?
my favorite.
Your buddy Tim.
Um,
Anyway, but that's what you have to do.
So basically, there would be 80 square foot and that would be 36. What do you got? 3620?
Right,
About
so-
4,000.
right.
So I can calculate.
Right, so what you need to do is you need to correct this,
Okay,
And
I
then-
understand.
put the proper figures in there and upload it. And then I think we should be in good shape. I think does everybody understand what's going on? So,
So I'd make a motion that we approve the permit pending Larry's approval of lot coverage.
Does there need to be a time period that you want?
It's up to them. I'm sure they want to do the work as quick.
I'll second.
Okay, motion.
Chance will enter it today.
Okay, motion by Bob, seconded by Joy. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, permit 399, that's at the BZA.
They had the meeting, last night. And that's the one with the side deck, right?
Yes,
So they were denied. So they're gonna come back to the building commission with a plan. And really, the side deck encroachment on the town's property was really minimal.
Well,
Uh,
hold
so-
on, just for point of clarity, they were not denied, they withdrew their petition.
That's right, you're right.
It was likely headed
I
to a
knew they were gonna
denial,
get denied.
but yeah, they withdrew it with some concessions of what they intend to do.
Yeah, and so the new plan basically is gonna come right up to the setback, and really, it barely influences their deck at all. I'm not sure why they needed to, tried to do that, but anyway, they did.
so they will have to apply for a new permit. The owner called me yesterday morning and asked what was necessary, and I said, you have to apply for a new permit.
Yep.
And you have to have a correct site plan and the plan for the deck, and that has not been done yet.
So is any of this extending onto town property?
No.
Oh,
They brought it all up, they poured that out.
Yeah, they tore it out. They already tore it out.
okay, so the issue is encroachment in the side setback.
It was going to be encroachment, but then there was a remonstrance against that, and the pulse of the building commission was that wasn't gonna get approved, so they withdrew it altogether, and there won't be any encroachment at all. Well, let me back up. It will not expand any encroachment that's already there, because the house technically encroaches into that side setback. But that's up to them to bring as Larry said, an application before you.
Okay, so that concrete patio that's there that is in the side setback that wrap around the house?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Yes.
okay, that's not an issue?
They're not changing that. That stayed. Actually, they put new concrete on top of what was there. And that was done without a permit, and the stop work order was issued, and they were fined, and they did pay those fines. It did not change the,
Footprint,
They didn't expand the nonconformity.
right, that's correct.
except that is the deck gonna wrap, they want to put a deck up, right? Isn't that what this next issue is?
It's running with the house now.
Hmm?
It's until they apply, there's nothing pending. So who knows what they ultimately decide, but what they represented is that they are just going to run it flush with the home.
So it won't, okay. So it'll be right
won't-
along the side of the home?
Yes.
Because that's where it was before.
Right. If they had, so we don't even have a permit, I guess.
I understand.
So when they come with their permit, what we expect from Bob, from talking to Bob and Chris, what we expect is they're going to come with a permit to us that is in complete compliance with our ordinances. And then when they present that, then we'll have the discussion and vote on it. Okay, next up is number 472, sauna in a rear yard. I'll share this if I can get this to work. This pink spot represents where they propose to put the sauna.
And doesn't that look like that's encroaching on the side setback?
Well, this side setback line is incorrect. The side setback line says 15 feet
Yeah,
and it's actually 10.
okay.
So I went and met with the owner, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. And I walked the lot, talked to him about the placement. I'll show you the lot coverage information here in a second. So actually Anita's familiar with it because Anita's property is right here to the west of that. So this is a vacated courtway that comes up. There's a driveway here that goes to Anita's, and I think there's two other driveways, right, Anita? And then the vacated, I don't know where it started to be vacated. I'm assuming it's probably right in here. That's kind of where it appears that it's been vacated. So this 7.5 feet of this vacated lot, pardon me, is owned by this property owner, and the 7.5 feet is owned by this. So it's very easy to see from having this site plan when you're on site that the neighbor's shed is actually on the petition or the applicant's property. So I said, you're fine with this 10-foot here, and this has to be 20 feet, but you should measure from this back property line at that shed line. So, and it tells you right up here that that's 0.5 feet, which is 6 inches over onto his property. So he's got some driveway marker stakes in the back. And I said, put those where you want to mark it. I'll come back and look and make sure you're 20 feet, and then he should be in good shape.
So why is that 15 feet not right? A 15-foot setback?
Because our side setbacks in R1 are 10 feet.
But there are certain subdivisions that have larger setbacks, yes? From the stuff that you pull.
There is according to the county, but not according to our ordinances.
No, when a subdivision is plotted, that's a setback that exists, unless the town wants to be more restrictive. I mean, that was the gist of all the different, anything that is plotted on a subdivision, that's,
We haven't been doing that.
what we should. I mean, that was the purpose of getting all those subdivision plots, I thought, no? That's the way it works. Now, I don't know if that one is 15, but we need to check that out.
Yeah, that's what came from the county, so I'm sure that it is a subdivision setback.
This came from the county.
Yeah,
So that's it. That's, when it's 15 and it comes from the county, that's what the setback is. We
doesn't
can't-
make any sense, though.
Why not?
Well, why would they be different just because they're?
Because that's the way it was plotted. That's the way the subdivision was entered into the county record and recorded. That's the purpose of the recording.
But our job is to make sure everything complies with our town ordinances. If the county wants to object,
Well,
maybe they have a body that would
the
object.
county doesn't want to interject. The county has no authority.
Yeah, I
The,
would,
the subdivision or the HOA, right? Is there an association associated with it? So it's those that are located that may have the ability to enforce that. The county is not they don't have any jurisdiction.
No, but my point about the county is that's the way it was recorded with the county.
That's right. And it's a covenant and restriction of record. I agree with you on that.
And that's what we have to go by. We can't say, I mean, you can't say, well, we don't want all the homes in this subdivision now to have a 10-foot if it's 15-foot. That's the purpose of the recording.
It's not buildable.
I don't think that's you can make it subject to making sure that they apply and see if there's an issue, but you only have jurisdiction. Your code doesn't say I have to comply with a subdivision, right?
Sure it does. I mean, that's why you, when you bring them in.
Well, why do you have a setback in that zoning district then?
I don't know. I didn't,
Well, that's what you guys enforce all the time though.
Hmm?
So if it's 10 foot or it's, you combine lots and it goes from 6 feet to 12 feet, except those aren't county or subdivision or those restrictions. I understand what you're saying in terms of, for instance, if you go for a variance and usually the application says, are there any conditions or restrictions of record? And you want to make sure that everything's complying so that when you grant a permit or a variance, you aren't doing it outside of that. But is there anything active with this subdivision at all? Other than neighbors they have a vested interest.
Yeah,
I mean, we're all fine. It's a wooded lot that's not buildable that he's trying to make nicer for all of us. I mean, really.
I have the same thing in my neighborhood, the Oaks Court subdivision, but which says 15 feet, but everybody goes by 10 feet because that's what our ordinance says.
I think we need to get this straight. I mean, what is the purpose of recording something if that becomes a covenant? When a subdivision is plotted, that becomes a covenant of record and not supposed to be changed, period. That's the way it's built. That's the purpose of recording the subdivision.
What about all
But
the
it's a
people
matter
who-
of the jurisdiction, though.
Well,
You have your own
I mean,
setbacks.
I can't argue with that. I don't know that. You can determine that, or you can make sure that that's true. My understanding was when we record subdivisions, which is what we did with Hidden Shores or whatever you call that, all the things that came in, the town had to approve all of those items as they came in. That's accepting it.
Mhm.
Now, I mean, what's the sense of having lot lines or stuff or anything like that if you can just change it?
I don't know. Today.
I'll leave it up to you guys to do what you want to do. Every subdivision in Long Beach has been recorded with the county, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And our restrictions, typically a restriction with a state, something like that is the city, a municipality may change certain portions of a state or county requirement as long as it's more restrictive, not less restrictive.
Well, and I agree.
This is a recording of the subdivision with the county.
I agree that potentially is that something can be more restrictive and not less. The issue is, for instance, I'm not aware of this issue coming up prior to this meeting. So I haven't looked at it. I haven't looked at what the code says about it and whether you guys are enforcing or not enforcing that. And I have no problem looking at that, but the overriding issue also continues to be consistency and making sure that we're making all of these decisions the same. However that is, if this one is in favor or not, or mirrors the actions you've taken. But I don't disagree that should follow the law and be consistent about it.
So I brought the lot coverage calculations up. With the addition of this sauna, they would be 27.93% coverage. So they meet the coverage. I guess the setback issue, that's up for us to decide. So I'm not up for us to decide. We have used our zoning, what our zoning says in the past. So I don't know what we want to do here.
Yeah, I don't think today's the day to
Right.
change the way we do things. So I'd make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Second, Anita.
Motion by Bob, a second by Anita. Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, or opposed, nay.
I oppose.
You got that, Honor?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Line item 13, 480, number 485, 2131 Avondale. I'll bring that permit up.
So aren't they the ones that put, so The bushes are really.
So this is, again, 2131 Avondale. There is, they want to put a golf simulator. They call it a shed golf simulator. So this permit came up last meeting or before last meeting. And when they said they were putting up a shed, I called the owners and I said, look, there is a limit on the size of a shed. It's 1%. And this would exceed that. So it's not a shed. So I don't know if we can, and that's the reason I sent out to everybody. I'm sorry, it was late. It was at noon today. I sent out the sections of the ordinance. I should have sent it last night when I sent the minutes, the notes. So I'll pull this up so I can kind of explain it while we're talking or while we're here, sitting here.
Boy, they really shouldn't be calling it a golf simulator shed.
The
should they?
air. And
Right.
this
I mean,
guy
really,
is-
it's what they called it. So
That's what the company who makes it calls it.
that's what this joint calls it, golf simulator shed. So that's what they put on their permit. And the shed is what drove my original comments was you can't put a shed up that's more than 1% of your property. So,
Heat and air.
pardon me?
It's got heat and air. I mean, it's.
Right, so, hold on, let me get to the site
Who's gonna
plan. so
make
you
sure
can
they
see.
don't store shovels and stuff in there?
That was an issue with.
So that's the reason I sent this out and it's, I could certainly ask them, hey, you better change what this is called. It's not over the coverage limits.
Did we get a site plan? I didn't see.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I brought up the wrong thing. So what I'm zooming in now, that this is their existing lot, their existing house, their existing driveways, gravel. There's a little walkway here. There's a deck here. That's all existing. Then this blow up is what they want to do. This is a proposed building with a covered porch around it. And the lot coverage calculations are here.
So it's gonna go on the gravel, mostly be on the gravel.
Yes. So the lot coverage with the addition of this golf simulator would be 19%.
You do.
It meets the setbacks. Meets both the side setback and the rear setback. The other side setback is over 70 feet, so that doesn't come into play. You can see that it's 10 feet right here is the setback from the property line to the corner of the covered porch. They didn't mark this off, but it's well over 20 feet. It's probably close to 60 or 70 feet. It's about probably 70 feet from the northwest lot line too.
What would keep someone from building this like as an accessory dwelling unit and then making
Well,
it a tiny house?
We don't, I mean, I guess that's a pretty good question. If somebody's gonna live in here, then it's against our ordinances. I think, I mean, I didn't bring this to Chris beforehand. I probably should have, so he could have been a little more prepared for it. I can bring the plans back up.
This is kind of like the shed on Larchmont, where they wanted to demolish, and they were gonna rebuild the house.
Oh, right.
And they had a shed, and then it first started out, it was gonna be, heat and air and water, and then eventually it turned into, they were just gonna put a golf cart in there. We don't really know what is
And once you
going to
approve it, they
happen.
can use it and you'll never know.
Correct.
Okay, so these are the plans. We'll start at 0.
That's the building?
That's a perspective view of it, right? This is not on their lot.
Yeah.
Right.
See, this is what the inside of it looks like.
So it's gonna have heat and water, is that right?
No, I don't believe it has water.
Said
That
heat and air on the application, the request.
Air
it
conditioning.
It
does
says
not
heat
have
and
water.
air.
This is what it looks.
I'll zoom this up. This is the floor plan of it.
Well, and I can see why you'd want heat because you're only gonna probably use it in the winter. Air seems a little extreme just because if it's so nice out that you need air, why would you use a simulator when you got a golf course in your backyard, you know?
So this is the floor plan. This looks like some electronics so that you can
Yeah, yeah.
play back your swing. This is
This
the
is
pad
the
where
one
they
in her
they
basement.
swing. I don't know what this is. Let's see if we could find, oh, maybe that's just a couch.
I believe that's this one in her
And
basement.
then there's 2 chairs out in front. It's a pretty simple building.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes,
Restaurants.
yes, yeah.
So that's it. I think Joy, you mentioned, or Anita did. I don't think shed is the right term. I could certainly ask them to modify their plan to say that it's an accessory building. And if it's an accessory building, it meets the 18 feet. There's nothing extraordinary, and they meet the setbacks and they meet the lot coverage.
What's the height?
17 feet,
Is it 17? I don't remember that. Thanks, Joy.
17 and a half feet.
Here it is right here. "17 foot 3/8 of an inch."
A little, is still a little distressing that the manufacturer calls it a shed. I
They
am a
probably
little
call,
bothered by
they
that.
probably call it a shed to beat somebody else's ordinance.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, so now is there a garage on this already, in this property?
Their garage is under their house. It's I don't know it's actually not an attached garage. It's a modified split level house, so the garage is underneath a room in the house.
Is this an old photo?
Okay, well, definition of a shed is a simple, single-story freestanding structure typically built in a yard or on a property to serve as an accessory building. It's a shed.
Right, but that's
That makes it 1%.
right, but
So
there's,
shed is accessory building, period. Is that right?
well, that's why I sent everybody.
Yeah.
I'll read the permit. This is 154.051. Permitted accessory uses and structures. The following uses and structures are permitted in. Sorry. You guys probably can't hear it, but it goes into my hearing aids, even though I muted it. The following uses and structures are permitted in a residential district, provided they conform to all setback requirements unless otherwise permitted by the Board of Zoning Appeals. The private garage or carport not to exceed 3-car capacity. A shed or storage building for garden equipment and household items incidental to a permitted use, provided that the floor area of such shed shall not exceed 1% of the size of the zoning lot. Private swimming pool and bathhouse fenced and protected against hazards to the public by fences or walls, which totally enclose the swimming pool, not less than 5 feet, not more than 7 in height. It goes on about elevated decks, permanently installed gazebos, hot tubs, or others. It goes on for things that really aren't germane to this, but so they're calling it a shed, but I don't think, it's obviously not a shed by our definition. It's not for storing garden equipment and household items.
But all accessory buildings are not to exceed 1%. Is that
No, a shed,
just the shed?
just the shed is not to exceed and 154.051B. I guess I would ask Chris before you want me to hand this to you? No.
What do you want?
Well, Bob's question is, are all accessory buildings limited to 1% of the lot area?
This is
Like a split
not a
level.
split level.
That's, yeah, the garage is.
Yeah, the garage is part of the house.
It's over a deck, it looks like.
There's living space above it.
Well, the way this is written, it's using another one that's poorly written, and we've ran into an issue with this, with the greenhouse, right?
Right.
In the definition of it. And then let me point out one more thing. That accessory building is defined as a subordinate detached roofed structure not designed or used for permanent year-round human habitation which serves a function incidental to and associated with the primary residential or commercial use.
And are accessory buildings unlimited to 1%?
I don't see where
Doesn't say that, just says sheds, right?
that's
Right.
right.
Because we ran into
But
that.
then your code doesn't address, where does it talk about accessory buildings? Because this says permitted accessory uses and structures, but not accessory buildings.
We have
Hold
to,
on.
you have to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
to the
You have to
mic.
come up, Greg. Tell us who you are again, Greg.
I'm Greg Deutscher, Deutscher Construction, and I'm bidding on this project. Just one simple, is that seems like a pretty big lot. Is it more than 1%? It's only like 600 or 680 square feet. So is it more than,
It is more than 1%.
it is more than the
Yeah,
1%?
it's-
Okay, that would have been a
right,
simple
Right, that's-
solution.
Yeah, that's why I called them originally, because I said, we're running into a situation here.
Right.
You got this building that you want to put up that's being called a shed on your application, and sheds are limited to 1%.
Yeah, I've been listening and so I understand. I was
Yeah.
just wondering if it was over the 1% because I know it's a pretty good sized lot and it's only like
Yeah,
28 by 24, so.
It's 1% of the primary structure, right?
no, 1% of the lot.
A lot.
Yeah,
It is more. So that was my question.
thanks. So what do you guys want to do?
To me, it's a shed.
They call it this.
I mean, when is something not going to be a shed?
That's the problem. Is
And-
everybody gonna start putting golf simulators in any accessory building they want to build? Hmm?
No, we need to write it as such as it's a building and not give it any particular name, like a basketball court or a shed or anything. It should just say, this is what the original thing about it was, it can't be a home for someone to live in.
How much? I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
Spaces are in there, the pictures that you showed us with the couch and all. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a golf simulator. Do they really need a couch in there? And I mean,
But this is,
it's almost like they're kind of like making it bigger than it needs to be.
Well, it looks like they're getting it from Carl's
Yeah.
ball shed thing and it's like probably
You have to-
pre-made.
Yeah.
It's probably pre-made and they're just buying a pre-made thing that's gonna be put on their property.
Hey, Greg, could you come up again?
But he's
I didn't know you were involved in this. So,
I'm kind of involved and I'm just listening. Bidding on the job, so.
okay, is it something that do they build it? I mean, do you build it or is it come?
I think it comes like prefab,
Mhm.
you know, in panels.
Okay,
But, you know, not everybody can play golf at one time, so you need a place to sit down. And it's kind of a leisure area. You know, it's not that it's a living space, but.
okay. Thanks,
And
Greg.
it's an awful expensive shed.
I know,
I don't know what the
it's a
print-
prefab thing.
Huh?
I know it's a prefab thing. It's kind of like,
Ellen has a photo of the inside.
Yeah, I think it comes in like panels. It's panelized, I think.
yeah.
It's 22 by 18.
If the owner's wife kicks him out in the middle of winter, does it promise not to sleep on the couch?
Yeah, maybe that's why there's.
Larry.
Let's think about, let's think about what the
Thanks,
original,
Greg.
This is what it is. I mean, it's not, it doesn't even have windows, I don't think. It goes in like that. And that's what it looks like.
What's the lot size, Larry, overall?
Let's see if they have any elevations on here.
Because if it's 22 by 18, that's only 362. 1%, you got, that's 36.
So these pictures right here, those are what are called sections. Hold on. We can only one person talk at a time. So these are what are called sections. That's a chop right through the building. So these shaded figures represent obviously people. So it appears there's an overhead door here. Let's see if we've got any other interior stuff, elevations.
The sides of the wall are quilted like that. And I think that might be what those.
Oh, that's not a door? Okay,
Those aren't windows. they're
got it.
So they don't want windows on that screen.
So Larry, how, 154,046, do you have that handy?
No, I don't. You want me to bring it up?
Because under that section, it says the following uses shall be permitted in a residential district. Subsection B says accessory buildings and structures, including garages. And then we've run into this issue where these things collide, right?
Right.
So it being a shed or an accessory building, it's still too big.
No, a shed, from what we have discussed here, a shed is the only thing in 154,051.
The spirit of that definition says shed or storage. That section's it's poorly written, as we've all discussed before. So we're not belaboring people who wrote that in the past, beating them up, but that's a shed. That section applies to sheds.
What number, Chris?
154,046. The problem is this is permitted uses and structures, right? Do you have access to it?
Yeah. All right. 154,056, permitted uses and structures. The following uses shall be permitted in the resident. One single-family dwelling on a zoning lot, either site constructed or factory constructed, meeting the definition of a manufactured home as defined in this chapter. B, accessory buildings and structures, including garages. C, babysitting. D, home occupations, blah. Everything else is just, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So what do we want to do?
None of those uses are a golf simulator. Of course, this was written long before
Right.
simulators were invented. Is there anything on there that's comparable to a pool room or something like that?
Well, what do you think the original?
Go back to the definitions. First of all,
In that- in that-
first of all, I want to point out in 046, this is poorly written, right? Because it says uses and structures. And then it defines what uses are. And then it says a single family home and accessory buildings and structures, including garages. But then it really gets to uses, which is babysitting, home occupations. So this one collides as well, right? But if we go back to the definitions, and again, we ran into this on the greenhouse, that, right, of whether that isn't permitted, does it fall on these other?
And we permitted the greenhouse, correct? Did we permit it?
Some form, I don't know what it is ultimately.
Yes, the greenhouse was permitted.
So then when you go
That was less than 1% of the 7 acres.
Yeah.
That was the other issue here.
was less, right? Is that? So
Yes.
Larry here, accessory building. So in that one, what, 046 was where we were? 056.
Yeah, you want me to go back to that?
Well, I just want to go between there. So accessory buildings and structures are allowed under 046. If you go to 020,
154020. Oh, that's fees. Oh, no, 154 for definitions. Accessory building. A supplemental bill. Are you kidding? How in the heck did I get in there? Sorry. Okay.
Go ahead.
a subordinate, detached, and roofed structure not designed or used for permanent year-round limited habitation, serves as a function incidental to and associated with that of the primary residential or commercial use on the same lot.
Based on that, I'd move to approve.
I'll second.
Troy, was that you that seconded?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. 493, Honor,
I've got a general question. When are we going to get the update on what an accessory building is?
APC might have something, they meet on Monday.
Okay,
We're waiting for that.
and can we distribute that? I mean, this is getting to be a habit here, right? Of all these
Yes.
accessory things.
We're not going to have a final at our meeting on, are continuing to work on it.
Okay. What's the due date for this?
The due date, are you asked, the due date of what?
That we get something that goes to the council or gets an opportunity for people to review. It's been, how long has it been? A month, 2 months?
Yeah, we're working on it.
I understand that. I understand that.
I don't have a due date. APC's meeting Monday. I don't have a due date.
Has anything been done on it so far? Any
Yeah,
discussion?
yeah, we continue to work on it. We had a workshop. We're working through the wording of it.
Yeah, I think this is the first meeting since May when that was considered and discussed. But just as a reminder, that process, and I don't know if there's a further workshop that is, or whether you're, as building commission members, are just gonna show up and participate in the plan commission process, but at best, this could be, if something was presented on Monday and the APC decided to set it for public hearing, that would be in July. And whatever that recommendation comes, then that could go to the council. If you're asking for review period, so the soonest that could be finalized process-wise with the normal procedures is 2 months from
So,
now.
so the output of the APC has to be public hearing?
That's, they have the public process, and then the council can kick it back and consider and make some suggested changes, but the public hearing will be at the APC level.
And do you remember what the timing is on that? There are certain timing requirements for
For the council,
submission to the council. The council has to make a response.
the council will do that. They have to, within 10 days, if whatever the recommendation will be at the APC level, within 10 days, they have to certify that decision to the council, and then the council within, I believe, 90 days off the top of my head. But it has been traditionally that the council considers it at the next regular meeting.
Understood.
So that's where we get to your best case is 2 months is with the normal procedures.
Okay, next is number 14, 493. It's a deck at 2921 Oriole Trail. The building commission has sent several letters to these people. They're talking about a floating deck. There is really no such thing. You can't just build a deck on top of ground. It's not up to code. So I've informed them of that. I told them that I would bring it here because they're insistent, but I will read you the last letter that I sent to them, which was June 5th. I don't know when that was, Monday maybe. We have received and reviewed the information that you have submitted in response to our letters to you. There are still issues with the submittals. Number one, the lot coverage calculations do not appear to include the proposed deck. Are the lot coverage calculations based on a survey? Number two, the deck must be supported with footings that extend to below frost line, which is 48 inches. Without drawings, we have no idea what you intend to frame or how you intend to frame or support the deck. Three, you would send in a proposed cost of materials that included framing and decking. You will need concrete for footings, wood columns, beams, etc. to support the deck. Are these materials part of your estimate? The site plan is not to scale. There is no document that shows the actual lot lines. Your proposed cost of $4,500 works out to $5.62 per square foot for an 800 square foot deck. We do not believe that a properly constructed code compliant deck can be built for that cost. While we can present this, what you have submitted to the building commission, I don't know that they will approve the project as submitted. I don't know if you guys want to discuss it, certainly we can, but you can't build a deck for $5.62 a square foot. I've been doing this 52 years and I couldn't do it 40 years ago for that amount of money. So,
Yeah, I don't think we should even consider it until
okay.
you're happy with what you've got.
all right. I told them that I would bring it because they were insistent. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was
We should
aware.
probably vote on that, though, just because they wanted it brought.
Okay,
So that's my motion, not to consider it until they have satisfied Larry that the application is complete.
Well,
I second.
let's just
Hold on.
make sure we're in compliance with
What's
the
that?
law. So the law is if they have everything submitted, you must grant. And if they don't, you don't have to consider it at all. I know you're just making it formal, but I want to make sure I'm understanding your motion. So they're not complete.
Right. It's an
Because the other alternative is you can vote on what's submitted and they're going to get voted down because you don't believe their permit is complete
Right.
and or approvable, right? So motion in the second is just not to consider it until it is complete, is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
It's
that
overkill,
okay?
But you can do that, yeah. Sure.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Ellen? Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Moving along, 498 is actually, I'm sorry, oh, they're gone. It's a fence. They just uploaded the pictures in the size, which we've been asking for. It's over 6 foot. It's 6 foot in the front yard, which we don't allow. So we won't consider that. I'll talk to them. Next up is number 16, line item 16, permit number 506, 2205 Mary Ben. This is a carport extension. It's an extension of a garage roof over an existing driveway. So they're not increasing coverage. It meets setback requirements. I'll bring it up for you here.
I would move to approve.
Okay,
I'd second.
motion by Joy, second by Bob. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nay, opposed, same sign, or opposed, nay. Next, hold on, let me look through here for a second.
Sand maintenance.
I think we should probably hold 17 until we do, there's several of these sand maintenance permits. Rather than go over each one, we can talk about them all at the end. The next up is line item 18, number 514, 3007 Loma Portal. To give everybody a little background on this, you should have gotten or received a notice from Honor and I through iWorks. I'll bring it up here so you can see what's happened here. It was brought to our attention that there was a stone revetment that was installed on the property without a permit. The stone revetment is, oh, you can't see it. Hold on, I'll bring it up here. Come on. Okay, so this is Ridge Road. This is going south down Ridge Road. This is Loma Portal across here. On the other side of this house is actually where Larry and Martha Moss Brown live. And this house was built, was permitted. They got several variances and permitted, I think, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Martha probably remembers the day it started. So this stone revetment was not on the permit. It was not, there was no permit applied for. And the stone revetment is actually on the street and in the town right of way. So,
You say stone revetment, it looks like it's a pile of big rocks, is that?
right, there's ground underneath it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look on the other side, this grade is actually more severe here than it is on the other side. So we sent a citation and a violation letter in this picture to, I'm assuming you must be the owners. So this next permit that we brought up is to do something else on the same property, but with outstanding citations, we don't consider permits. So I'm assuming that's what you want to talk about. Well, then you have to, hold it. Okay, is that on? Is the green light there? Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
This was our retention wall that we had approved when we went to the zoning. We put the driveway in and so we didn't lose the slope or the sand. This was the retention wall. I don't know if you can remember.
I'm having a hard, can you guys hear? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, it's on now. Okay.
There you go. I'm sorry, you have to start over.
No,
again.
no, that's
We couldn't
okay.
hear you.
Anyways. We poured the driveway. This was put in November by RLM and they did pull a permit. We reached out to them. We just got this yesterday. And they did pull a permit and, we did have to ask for permission to put a retention wall, to support, the dune there. So, we were trying not to mess the topography up or anything like that. So that is what we considered a retention wall.
So you asked the BZA for permission to put in this rock covering,
They call
And
it
that was-
retention.
and that was, yeah, I guess I have a hard time calling that a wall, but,
It's,
and so was that a specific variance that you got from them
Yes.
there?
Mhm.
I think, I remember this variance because it's on a corner lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and there were a lot of
And
variances
I
granted.
have the findings and decisions paper here with me and then also email that we had gone back and forth just to clarify that we did get that permission from Mr. Willoughby.
Mr. who, Wilby?
Willoughby?
Okay.
you certainly didn't get any permission from Mr. Willoughby. I'm Mr. Willoughby. I'm not a decision maker.
Yeah, so you have
Well,
the
it was,
findings and
it was clarification on the findings and decisions.
Do we see those?
Yes.
So the findings and decisions, you have a signed copy of them? And so what they were asking for is authorization to install a landscaping wall. So that was part of their request. But the findings and a request isn't the findings and decision. So you have to refer to the findings and decisions, which are at the back. Hmm?
Trying to get clarification because we didn't see that in there.
You have to speak from
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Findings and decisions.
So are we talking about a issue of definition of retaining wall versus landscaping wall versus something?
Yeah,
I don't-
I'm not really sure.
I don't think that there's any disagreement or I'm not, here, these are the drawings that we got with the permit. And for some reason, I can't zoom up on here. Wait, maybe if I do this, just a second. Why aren't you seeing this?
What's the date of findings and decisions that you have? Because I don't have signed copies, so I don't know what you're looking at.
Get it down here.
And then in the email, the clarification was the relief granted was for what was specifically asked, varying setback variances along Ridge Road, retaining wall and placement of HVAC. Then it said, just because your plans included items does not mean you received or anything other than what you communicated on your application.
Maybe this is going to work here.
What's the date of what you're reading?
This is,
Okay, this will work.
April 15th, 2024.
So these are the drawings that we received for the permit. This is the site plan of the existing, what was there before, which some of you were on. That was demolished long before this came to the permit was issued or came to us. This is the site plan that was approved. Let me zoom up a little bit further.
What's that driveway?
That's what so the driveway. I got too many things over here, Bob. Let me see if I can move this around.
Is that Ridge Road at the bottom?
Yes. So this line right here, if you follow that is the line of the driveway. This is Ridge Road. See if there should be a better one in here. I thought there was. Yeah, here you go. So
I just see cross hatching, which are
right,
topo lines.
these are topo lines.
But it doesn't,
And this is the property line where it says property line and you come down here. This is the edge of the pavement. So, there's no retaining wall. I would say that this was the retaining wall right here because that's the edge of the driveway. You drive up, you pull here. I think this is the garage here somewhere. So this wall that I showed you, or the revetment that is there, starts at the edge of the road, which is in the right of way, and goes up to this area and encompasses here. And I guess the problem is the building commission, we can never give anybody permission to put anything on property that they don't own. So those stones, those boulders are actually on the town's right of way, which we don't have the authority, even if you did apply for a permit for it, we don't have the authority to grant that approval. You would have to petition the town council, correct, Chris? In order to be able to put something on the town right of way.
I don't think the BZA can even do that.
I don't know. That would be up to Chris. I think it has
The
to go.
BZA to allow, I mean, the town owns it though. I think there's probably a little bit of overlap with the town council. This is another example where I don't have all the information or the issues at stake. While we have a discussion and I do have some recollection, but I don't have access to it. So for me to give any fair response, I cannot in terms of the clarification, because I do believe there was discussion about having a special meeting to clarify that there might have been something left out with landscape wall. However, with that said, even if it was approved, if they didn't then subsequently submit or include it on a permit and did that work, just because you get a variance doesn't mean you get to do that work without properly becoming before you. Additionally, they need to put that in the plans that are submitted to you and or get approved. So that's the general concept. I can't speak specifically on whether what was approved affects this or not, because I don't have that information in front of me. So I want to be clear. I don't
Sure.
mean to intimate that she's misrepresenting it all, because I do remember there being a little bit of a snafu in
Right,
just
and
clarity
I
issues.
understand all that. I guess what I just need
Give that to Larry.
clarification on is, what do we have to do to be compliant? And,
We have umpteen issues where individuals have put stuff in the right of way, not on the roadway, but in the right of way. We've got fences, trees, bushes, boulders, all sorts of stuff. So I don't see that as being a particular issue here. Now, if it's unsafe, that's a different story. But the fact that it's on, as long as it's not on the roadway and it's not causing a safety hazard, I think that's one issue that we shouldn't address here, that we've allowed. Just go down Lake Shore Drive and you'll see fences, bollards, everything. So that's one thing I think we need to put on the table and forget about. Now, whether they built something that they weren't supposed to build or didn't have approval to build, that's another issue. Does everybody agree with that?
I guess my thought is I think first we need to find out what variances the BZA granted. And then we need to see when they came back to the building commission with those variances, what we granted, what we approved. So to me, those are the two things we need to do. So Chris, can you do that? Can you find out what variances we granted on this date? Because this just talks
Well,
about setbacks.
Because is there a separate, I don't know if there's something that's later date. That email isn't going to, the clarification.
No.
I just don't know what subsequent discussion was
Yep.
done.
Well, but those discussions should have taken place.
On
At
the
the
record
BZA?
and then amended it,
Here.
for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can ask Meg.
Okay.
For
Yep.
just if she has any different copy. And all that does is establish what the playing field is. Even if you got a variance to do it,
Is your,
that's
oh,
hers.
okay,
Oh.
okay.
Can I ask a question? The rock that you have there, is that just poured on there and it's loose?
Oh, it's very, it's.
Strategically
yeah,
placked in like
yeah.
a wall?
Into the
Mhm.
ground.
RLM did it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it
Mm.
keeps the dune from
Yeah,
going into the street?
right.
And keeps the driveway from being undercut by
Right.
erosion.
Right.
So I can understand why you wanted it
Mhm.
and why you
We need-
probably needed it.
And in our
I
minds,
guess the
that was
question
the
is, did you
retaining
ask
wall.
for it?
Well, in our mind, that was the retaining wall to retain the,
Well, I guess
It is.
there's several issues, if I could just, for clarity here. What you gave us is very specific. It lists all 5 variances under A, which are all setback variances. And under B, it says the placement of an HVAC system on Lomer Portaway side of the lot. I'll pass that down. So those are the variances that were granted. The other issue is with this revetment is it puts them into where it would exceed the 35%. So there's a lot more than just issues that I've looked through the drawings. I asked Honor to send me the drawings, and that's what I've put up here. And this is the site plan that we have. I'll back it out so you can see the entire site plan.
it does put us very close to the 35%.
Right, so, well, what you submitted today, this is a conglomeration of a BZA, a building permit that came to us that was denied, then it went to the BZA, then it came back to us, and there were some other issues, and then it went back to the BZA. So then now this wall was not permitted, in my opinion, because it's not on the drawings that is right in front of us. That's what we're looking at. These are the drawings that were submitted that the building commission voted on. And there is no mention or nothing shown here, nor included in the setback or the lot coverage calculations, that wall. So that's up for consider. That's what we have to look at. The next thing is, and the reason this came up today is because you have a permit before us to add more coverage. So
Well,
we
yeah,
can't
because
even consider that, but.
I understand that. We only got this yesterday, so.
Right, because I got a picture and a complaint from several people that the wall was placed there. I don't even know when it was placed there.
In November, before we moved in and the
Okay,
final
so
approval was.
those are the problems. The last problem is it's dangerous for
Okay.
several reasons. It's dangerous because nobody can move off the street if something were to happen. It's dangerous because it narrows the roadway in a very precarious, I grew up on that street, so I'm very familiar with this area. It's a very steep hill. It's one of the worst intersections in our town. And the last problem is the plows. These guys plow at 2:00 in the morning in snowstorms. And if you're driving, our plows use what are called a belly plow, which is directly under the truck most of the time. And if you're driving a belly plow and you hit a 150-pound rock, believe me, it's not only dangerous for the people driving the plows, that smaller rocks can be forced or tossed up into your yard or into your house. So there's a lot of reasons why, number one, it was never permitted in my estimation. Number two, it's dangerous. Number three, it puts you over your lot coverage. And number four, I don't see it in the BZA findings of fact. So I think that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, and you're hitting on the point that I just want to make that clear. you could have gotten 10 other variances, but if they weren't included in the application to the building commission, they were never applied for. And I don't know that. I'm just using it as an example. So if it pans out that there's an amended findings and decision, for instance, that says you get to build a revetment specifically, right? If you didn't include it in your application and it wasn't approved by the building commission, then that's not approved, even if you could have. Doesn't mean you can't go back and have another bite at the apple, correct any what might be out of compliance.
And these are the drawings, that this is the receive date. We received these on April 5th of 2024.
Okay, so we've got no permit, it's over 35. It's a safety hazard, and the wall was not on the original drawings, is that right?
We did have a permit, but RLM pulled a permit for that.
Well, there was no permit for the wall. I mean, you may have had a permit for other work, but not for this specific wall. Is that true? Yes?
But RLM told us yesterday when my husband called that they had a permit. They were going to send it to us.
Well,
But I guess it doesn't matter. We'll pay the fine. We're prepared to pay the fine and
there are so many, pardon me, there are so many issues with this. Number one, I guess the only reason we're talking about this right now is because the permit that's before us to do other work outside of this wall. And historically, we do not consider permits if there are outstanding citations and fines.
okay.
So for line item number 18, permit number 514, we won't consider that. From the standpoint of the wall, I think that's going to need a lot more discussion really outside of this group so that we can figure out what happened when. I mean, is that in keeping with what everybody's thoughts are here?
Yeah, we should be able to easily determine what the adopted and existing findings of fact, whether there is indeed another permit that might have come in separately, right? And then
Right.
even then, there still could be an issue, but we need to find out what documents you're operating off of.
Right. We don't have all the parts.
Doesn't seem like it.
So
Unless,
the first issue is to deny this permit, yes?
Well, no, we're not. I don't know. I guess I would ask Chris.
We can't consider them if there's
well, I don't
outstanding
think,
citations.
I don't think, my recommendation wouldn't be to deny it, because I don't think you have all the information to see if you might not be inclined to grant it because they have an outstanding fine, but I think it would be unfair to deny it without having all the information, and we can access that
I
and see what the
agree.
records are.
Yeah, and maybe the remediation plan for this retaining wall is going to lower their lot coverage and they'll be okay with this, what they want to do. That's a possibility too, but
Because
yeah, we need more
my
information.
landscaper is
Okay.
here and I can work with her. She can help us redo that wall.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat?
The landscaper, Julie is here and she could help be part of this plan where we would revive
Okay.
that wall and,
I think that's a good idea. And but we're not going to be able to do that here
Got
today.
it.
So
okay.
go ahead.
The issue
Pete.
a citation,
Yes.
Yes,
and was that paid?
she said.
I'm prepared to pay that today.
And the contractor?
Yeah.
Was he issued a citation?
No, because I didn't know who did it.
Yeah, he said that he pulled the permit. He has a permit.
We need to
so-
know what that permit says.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to see that so we can resolve that issue.
I have a question.
Sure.
So,
Tell us who you are.
Pardon?
Got to tell us who you are.
Oh, I'm Julie with Smalls Garden Center.
Okay.
And so because her yard has no lawn or anything, so there's a patio in the drawing and a stepper path and a few accent boulders. Could we get into her yard and give her a lawn and some plantings without a permit?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. You don't need a permit to put lawn, anything that's not stone, anything that's not a surface that's covering something.
Oh.
You wanted to put lawn or you wanted to put bushes or plantings or flowers or whatever. A permit isn't required to do that.
Okay, so my brother always dealt with permits before, like Joe Lennon's house
Yeah.
out there in Lake Shore and all that. that wasn't me. So I'm in the learning session right here.
Okay.
And just like that, with the cobble, that's a 6 to 12-inch cobble they put on there. You know, it's just laid on there. There's probably fabric underneath it. And it, you know, it can be removed and then you just do a planting on there to
Sure.
retain it. Yeah.
I think that's what, it would probably be a good idea if you guys get all your information together and then come back to us, you can, you know, Honor can, or this is really kind of outside of the iWorks, wouldn't you agree, Honor? So I think we need to sit down. I mean, I can sit down with you, we can figure out what we have. And then, I mean, did you guys do the plan for the new permit?
Pardon?
Did you do the plan for the new permit?
I'm,
With the plan for the new.
Yeah.
permit.
Right, so you have the capability to do that, so I could talk to you, you know, we can do it over the phone, you can email stuff back and forth, and we can say, okay, here's what you have, you can't exceed 35%, so I think you can figure that out fairly quickly. And if it needs be, if that's what comes to pass, the revetment there has to be removed, or a portion of it has to be removed, I'm sure you could come up with something that will retain the,
yeah, or, you know, if that could be dug in and the boulders are back so that the
Right.
plows don't hit it.
right.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So I think there's probably a solution here somewhere. We just have to get all the parts.
Just to make
But so
sure,
we can proceed, like if we wanted to get the dirt in the lawn.
Yeah. that's
Plantings
not-
and all that
yeah,
kind of
that's
stuff,
not-
then we're
that
good to
doesn't
go.
require a permit.
Okay, great.
Okay,
just to make sure that you keep moving along on the permit process. You make sure that that contractor you used before sends Larry that permit that he has. So we can see, because if he also gets a citation, which sounds very likely, but I don't know. We won't consider it if there's still a citation outstanding on the property.
Okay, I'll pay that citation today and then anything else would go to you, Larry? Would we?
well, so there's a couple of things at play here. I forgot your name. Julie. So what Julie's asking is can they, at least I think, is can Smalls come in and landscape your yard? Yes, as long as they don't put any rocks down or boulders or whatever. So you don't need a permit for that. So that's one item. The permit that you have, I think, is for a fire pit and some pathways and whatever. That permit, you can't do that work. That won't be considered. And that, all that information was uploaded into the system. The problem with everything to do with the the stone revetment on the town property or whatever, that's outside of our software. So that information would best be sent to the building department, Honor, and then Honor will distribute it to all of us.
Okay,
Okay?
and then would we come back here next month?
Right. If you get everything, then we're probably going to have to talk with Julie, myself back and forth, figure out what your coverage is, make sure that you're at the 35%. She can adjust her drawings so that when you come back here, there's not I mean, I'm
Okay.
sure you've had to sit through all the things that we've talked about. You understand the ramifications of what happens and I mean, I guess ultimately it's the responsibility of the homeowner, the engineer, the designer, the architect, or the contractor to understand the ordinances. I'll certainly work with Julie and we can get together and make sure that she understands what her parameters are.
All right,
Larry,
thank you.
And just for clarity for your cutoff is 1 week before the meeting next month.
Right.
It's 1 week.
Our meetings are on the second Friday of every month. In order to be considered for the meeting, the information has to be in the first Friday of the next month.
Just wanted to make sure you knew the timing of that.
You
So
got
if
3
you-
weeks.
Okay,
So we can go ahead
You
and
can do
get the corrected, get them-
Are you going to the party?
Only one time.
Right, so, right, you could, so if you want to go put the lawn in or put plantings in or whatever,
Yes, the yard looks nice with the.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
it's always something you can come back in and then we can put a settle pad and fire pit.
Right, that's right. All right, thanks.
I guess one other quick question, because this has to be resolved by, there was a date on it, the 22nd of this month.
The what?
The 26th of this month or something. We had to fix the violation.
I'll talk to Chris about that and you have to get the information back to us so we have all the parts so we
All
can
right.
look at. We don't have the parts right now, okay? Jim? No, I'm just kidding. My name's,
Larry.
His name's on the sheet.
my name is Larry Wall, W-A-L-L. Larry Wall, W-A-L-L. Yeah. We can't be serious all the time. Or at least I can't. Okay, thanks. Number 5, thank you. Number 534, 2206 Floormont. Everything's fine. They just need a street cut permit. And I don't know if that's in the works or not.
What happened to 533?
Yeah, 533 is on the agenda.
You meant to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, 533, 2205 Floormont. It's stonework. I've talked back and forth with the owner and the landscaper. I'm going to meet them on site. They're over their coverage now. And I said, the only way that you're going to be able to do anything is you're going to have to reduce coverage somewhere else. So they're going to come up with that and then it'll come back to us. 534 is basic landscaping, except they're replacing the stone in a parking area with decorative stone, and he needs a street cut permit. So that permit can actually be approved, but we're waiting on the street cut permit. Uh, 538, 2201 Hoveland. This is a patio. It's similar to the 2205. They exceed their coverage. They're removing broken sections of their driveway and going to replace that square footage with a bluestone patio.
But we don't have a site plan or coverage.
Yeah, hold on. I've got it up here somewhere. That's uploaded, isn't it, Honor?
What?
Isn't that uploaded?
Were you blinking down there?
Okay, hold on. What's that I think she was napping. Oh. Honor, do I have the wrong permit number?
No, it's 538.
I'm not getting anything when I go, oh, I'm in code enforcement. Hold on, I'm sorry. Right. I might move there. Okay, here we go.
That's the only thing that was submitted.
Oh, that's a picture. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the property. Hoveland is on the right side. This is the lot. Just does not border. These are other people's homes here. So what they're proposing to do is remove 100, I can zoom it up. They're proposing to move 144 square feet of this broken concrete that's a walkway, little small patio area behind the house. And they're proposing to put 144 square feet of natural stone back in. Their lot coverage would be 33.05. I'm sorry, I thought they were over the coverage.
So no change in footprint.
No.
Move to approve.
Any second?
I'll second.
Joy? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Permit number 541, they want to do some repair on their deck, but they have outstanding fines, so that's not up for a vote. Permit number 545, 1528 Lakeshore Drive. They had a permit to remove and replace their decking and install new footings and columns because the columns and the footings were rotten. We got a call from a neighbor about something that was not related to this. So when I went down, I found that they had removed the entire deck and the structure and were building an actual room with concrete walls and
Without a permit.
well, yes, basically the permit was to remove decking and put decking back. And so I said to the contractor, I said, "Yeah, what are you doing here? This is not what you have a permit for." Well, it's the same size. So,
Good answer.
yeah, hold on. I don't even know.
Find?
No, not yet.
Okay, they need to be. Both the contractor and the owner.
Let's see what we have here. So these drawings were uploaded on June 3rd. And the permit was applied for and paid for, I believe, on the same day.
This is for the room.
Pardon me?
This is for the new room,
Yes,
but they have outstanding citations.
they will have.
Yeah, I think we need to, regardless of what they want, they have outstanding citations. I don't think we should even consider a permit like this. And frankly, some of our citizens are not impressed with our fines, but what they are impressed with is the stop work orders. So I guess that would be my motion, is that we shouldn't consider this until the outstanding citations are paid.
So what,
Also another applicant name who we recognize.
Oh, is that right? I didn't look at the name.
Hmm?
I didn't look at the name and.
I do, I mean, because I've had experience, I'm just saying, it's yet another example of this applicant doing something outside scope. of
I don't know who it is and I don't have the meeting notes, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a contractor that
Yeah, no, I think we
There's
should not
been
even look at
similar
that.
issues.
Fine, it's all public record.
Okay.
I think the overriding issue is that whether it is or isn't a repeat offender, for lack of a better description, you just made decisions earlier that you weren't going to pass on applications that had outstanding fines. So why would we not be consistent in that application? And if there are repeat offenders, and we just faced this with the BZA, right? And you guys might want to consider starting to take action against the repeat offenders like you've done before to revoke registrations or fine them or put them on probation, because ultimately your residents are the ones who pay the price. And while some might have some knowledge of it, most residents, in my experience in the last, they are trying to do the right thing, right? So it's that the contractors we need to make sure they understand, because the homeowners, the residents are getting fines. They're not necessarily finding out until they're into the contractors are into them for some money. They have something installed, and that might not be all the ways, right? Some people are slick and try to get and push the limits, but I mean, a lot of times, despite the obligation as a resident to be informed, you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. So that's.
Who was the contractor on this?
It's public record.
You know, Larry, you've got an overview of this because you see the contractors.
Right.
And so my suggestion is if you see a repeat offender, you know, I don't know how many times it would be, that at that point you need to point it out to us and say, you know what, we may need to take action to protect our citizens.
Jordan.
It's JCG Builders.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think we got two issues here. I think this permit, what you're saying to me is you don't want to consider this. I think I understand that. Then the second issue is that, as Chris said, the BZA has had some discussion about the same thing, that repeat customers is probably not a good thing. Any other discussion about that?
Yeah, help me with it. Was a fine issued?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Will a fine be issued?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, I move that we issue a fine.
Yeah, to both the builder
I'll
and
second.
the owner.
Okay. So now, this is not the first time that this contractor has been involved in doing work without a permit.
I don't, we don't.
No,
It is or it isn't?
it is not.
How many times has it happened, Larry?
I don't know. I mean,
Sorry. Should have.
No, that's, I
No,
think we need to
that's all
deal
right.
with it. I mean,
We'll go-
we're giving these people registration, so we're giving them the town seal of approval.
Go ahead, Anita. Oh, okay.
Anything.
Okay, the last time we had multiple violations for the same issue or for work that was not as supposedly built, we suspended the contractor's license for a period of 10 years, as I recall. Does everybody remember that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Is there any reason why we shouldn't do that? This person knows what's happened here. We've talked to them before.
Well, let's remember there's a process, right? You
Sure, I
got to
know,
give
but-
them notice, got to do all those things.
But we need to make a recommendation, yes? If we don't do it, who's gonna do it?
You're going to do it. That's what I'm saying. So you're the ones who have the hearing and give notice and give them an opportunity. So that recommendation would come. I just want to make sure we're not I understand what you're putting on the table, but I want to make sure that we're not making a pre-decision and get all the facts, give them their due process, because that's what your code requires.
And that's fine. I just want to move this process along.
Yeah, and part of that due process needs to be informing the contractor of each instance so that he can defend them, right?
Yeah,
Yes, your code is clear of what we have to do and show, but they have to get notice and set a hearing date, and it's a separate. Takes down your hourly rates because you have more meetings. What?
So we need to get that process moving. Everybody agree with that? Make a motion that we start the process. But second that.
Second,
Any discussion?
can you make a list of the different times?
Yeah, I guess
Sorry.
no, that's all right. It's not that I'm refusing to do it. I will tell you, it's a little bit difficult because I'm in the construction
Awkward position,
business.
yep.
I mean,
Well, and maybe during that hearing, you would want to recuse yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not unreasonable.
I did that at the previous one, but, all right, Honor and I can probably work on that. We'll talk with
I can
Anita and
help.
Anita can help. She probably knows more about it than all of us put together, so, okay.
Sorry.
So any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Or I'm sorry, opposed, nay. Next up, sorry, Pat, we're coming all to all these. It's just, there's so many of them. So this is, we're done with all our regular, not regular, our other permits. So we have permit number 506, permit number 526, permit number 548, 549, 550, 551, 553, 554, 555, and 559.
515,
507 from up above.
507.
507, yeah. If,
Um,
515 and 559 are the same address.
Are they?
Mhm.
Oh, didn't, Honor, is that the one they put two in?
Oh, they paid separately.
Yeah. Is it,
Okay.
so these are similar to the permits that we granted. I don't know if it was last month or the month before.
Last month.
And as everybody knows, there's been an accretion problem of sand. It blew up on Lake Shore Drive. The town has had to deal with it. The homeowners have to deal with it because it's blown up into their yards. We've explained to all the homeowners that call and other contractors that call that they don't need a permit to remove sand from their yard. I mean, they can take that sand and they can, if it's not contaminated, they can put it back on the beach. So the DNR, just to refresh everybody's memory, I sent a letter to Marquita Shepherdson, who is as high up as I know. There's other people above her, but she was here in 2019. She was here in 2020 and helped me a lot with all the stuff or helped us a lot with all the stuff on the lakefront. So I sent a letter to her expressing that we're having issues, people are having issues. What's the DNR's position? The DNR does not consider moving sand from the seawall from anywhere into the lake. That does not need a permit from the DNR. I have that letter. I think I've sent that letter to everybody else. So what happens is a lot of homeowners seem to think that that means they can do whatever they want. Well, in that letter from Marquita Shepherdson, she cautions homeowners and cautioned me and said, this is not to be construed as a local permit, a permit from any regional, state, other state or federal agency. So what that comes down to, what we've discussed and what Chris and I think, have talked a little bit back and forth on is the jurisdiction line. So the jurisdiction line is a natural ordinary high water mark. Anything from the national ordinary high water mark to the water is under the jurisdiction of the DNR and the Army Corps of Engineers. Anything landward of the natural ordinary high water mark is under the jurisdiction of the town of Long Beach. It's not about ownership. It's not about who can use it. It's not about anything. It's about what can happen on that property. We have ordinances that, we have about 3 or 4 ordinances that are specific to dunes and sand and moving sand. I've talked with the Save the Dunes people as well. Our ordinances do not allow human intervention or human movement of sand on the lakefront. The dunes themselves, and we've worked with, as you guys know, we've had several permits in here. That to us is, if there's dune grass on it, you can't touch it. So what we've done previously to these permits is I've met with contractors, some owners. I met with Pat Clifford here, who is I forgot your address, Pat, 22 something, 2216 Lakeshore Drive. And Bruce Woodruff, who happens to be, have the permit in for Pat, the Clifford property. So what we've expressed to the contractors, which there are several, we have said, you can only move sand that is above the grade of a neighbor's property. If it has dune grass on it, you can't move it. So that has been allowed. We've allowed that. So that's what these people, I don't know how many of them there are, that's what these people are asking for. So for us to give a blanket permit, that's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is we do the same thing we did before, that I meet with whoever the contractors are on the beach, express the parameters, then as they're doing that work, I go down, usually when they start, and at some point, it's usually a 1 day, sometimes they're 2 day processes. Then at some point, I go down to make sure they're doing what they were supposed to. Because we did have one homeowner, the first one we gave out, who did more than what was allowed. And so we're very cognizant of that. I don't know, Chris, I guess I'd ask you after we have some discussion, or maybe we should just open it up for discussion now. That's kind of all I could say about what these permits are all for.
Can I clarify? It's only to move sand.
Pardon?
It's only to move sand and sand that has no dune grass.
That's right.
So it's
If
just plain
there's dune
sand
grass
removal.
growing, then you can't,
Right.
Right.
They're only allowed to move sand.
right.
Okay.
And we're taking before and after pictures?
Yes.
Yeah, so Larry, when those come through, how do I even know to process it if it's not
The pictures?
the permit? I guess you would have to take a look at it first, right? To see if it's even.
Well, I guess, so the last time these came up, I went and visited each property with the contractor before the permit came in. This time, because there were so many, I said, look, let's go down and let's look at all these properties at one time, because these came in over the course of 3 weeks or whatever. And although I love the beach, I do have another job. So I didn't want to stay at the beach all day. So anyway, I guess you're right, Honor. I mean, I could go down when they come in, but I was hoping that you guys could have some discussion and see what we want to do with these.
I would make a motion to approve these 11 permits under the condition that you meet with the contractors for each property or homeowner, whichever it may be. And explain to them exactly what they can do.
And anybody else is more than welcome to come with me
Yeah,
and
I'll help. I mean, I live over there. I can take pictures before pictures.
sure.
I have a camera.
Is it possible to send an email and maybe come up with a date? And I mean, I feel like there should be an easier process somehow for this to say, and we have one of the homeowners here to say, can people meet on, for your time, Friday at 1 o'clock or something, and have, tell everybody what the rules are, and maybe have someone, I don't know, help you with the photos. And that's what you have a building commission for, to help you.
We actually have put the burden of the photos on the contractor. Before they start, they have to upload photos beforehand. It just saved us some time from running down to each property. And then when they're done, they have to submit a photo too.
So are we talking about sand that is only between the home and the property line, lakeside? Are we
Yeah,
talking about
that's
anything that's on the street side?
No.
Most not on the street side. The way the MS4 rules are, any sand that was, like if Tom picks up sand that blew up at stop 30 or whatever, that can't be put back on the beach. That has to be hauled off because it's considered contaminated. And I'll use the Clifford property. There's probably anywhere from 18 inches to 2 foot of sand that is humped up in some areas on that property. So
Are we talking-
that sand would be pushed back to the lake. It's not removed. We still don't allow sand mining, but that sand is then pushed into the water.
It's like all those houses, Clifford, Smith, Chamka, all of them had the sand all the way up on not closer to stop 23. There's very little sand. Most of
Right.
it, you've lost the whole wall that they put in.
Right.
It had all the water.
Okay, so just help me here. So if sand blows up on somebody's deck, they can move it off?
Yeah, they don't need a permit for
And
that.
where can they move it to?
That sand can be put back on the lake or back towards the beach. I don't, Pete, I'm not sure this is what you're asking, and if, let me just say that I don't have a good handle. I usually defer to Tom Dolph about contaminated sand.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to,
But the sand, let's say it blew up 2 feet, there's a mound of sand 2 feet along a 40-foot property right behind their seawall. They can take that and throw it down on the beach.
and we've allowed that before.
Yes.
Okay. And the only thing I'm concerned about is a blanket sort of statement to these people. You know, when we say, if the sand is higher than the neighbor's property, I don't know all the situations that could apply to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's a situation at Stop 18 to where there are several, I think it's 4 properties in a row. And, you know, the sand is up, down, up, down, up, down. And talking with the contractors there, I said, you know, you can't go and take this guy's sand down and then say, oh, I can go down lower over here. I mean, by that time, you're going to be down and you're going to be at the water table. So it's, and I talked to Joe Exel at the DNR about this as well. You know, the goal is, I don't know if any of you have been at the beach much in the last week or so. You know, there's an 18-inch shelf at the wash line right now. So, you know, you can't go down and take it to the 18-inch shelf and bring, you know, make sure that that's all the way low. We're trying to keep, I guess the goal would be to keep the continuity of the grade, just like Lakeshore Drive goes up and down. So does the sand on the beach. You can't just come and wholesale push sand out in front of your house.
Understood. Our current ordinance, the oldest one, says that you cannot, at your property line, you must equal the neighbor's property,
Right.
whatever that height, depth, whatever that is. So we're going to retain that, right?
Yes, and that's really the kind of the parameter that I have used with every person that's asked me about it and brought a permit here, is I've said, you can't go down further than what your neighbor is. And it's not just your neighbor next door. It's, as I said, kind of like Lakeshore Drive. It's stop 24, you know, the Sands X, and you go down to stop 18 and it's a different, so, you know, we're not saying you can level the whole thing off between stop 31 and stop 13 and take an average. It has to, just like you said, Pete, we're adhering to that. That's basically, I think, the
understand.
rule.
It's just that, you know, we had the situation before we created or installed we call it the
Lakefront protection
the
ordinance.
dunes ordinance, whatever it
Yeah.
was, shoreline protection, that several homeowners got together and just scraped their lots clean.
Yes,
And I don't want that to happen again.
Absolutely.
Somebody says, oh, you want to lower yours? I'll lower mine too.
yeah,
And I'll lower mine.
yes,
And we're ready. We're done.
yeah,
That's what I'm afraid of. We've had that happen before.
But I think a benefit that has happened since the last egregious one, and then the representation from a local contractor that they had clearance from the DNR, and then when we actually read it, but yeah, but the positive of that is since that led to dialogue on Larry's part, mine with the assistant general counsel for the DNR, because they were requiring permits, and then they said, oh, we've been doing this and we shouldn't, we're no longer going to, but it has led to consistency, and residents have been, for the most part, right, coming to ask, and as evidenced by all these permits. So the process is working there. It's just creating a little more work and good basis for Larry to ask for a bigger budget, right? Because having to go, just because all of these are labor intensive, right? I mean,
well,
that's,
and I forgot to mention that Chris went way above Marquita and whatever and talked to,
same message though, which is good because we haven't always gotten that.
So how's that new dune buggy working?
So Joy's motion was to approve the 11 permits subject to review of each permit. To be honest with you, I don't know if these are all the same contractor or not, but it doesn't really matter. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Bob? Any other discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Let me know when you're doing it. Let me know when you're doing it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Pete just said, let us know when you're doing it. I'd be happy to have somebody else come down. I'd actually be happy to have somebody else do the whole thing.
Look at you and me, Alan.
I
And,
could-
I will also say, I know we're off this particular, 11 permits. Most of them have been a single contractor who understands our rules and who understands that, we're not going to tolerate any variance from what has been done.
Do we want to approve certain contractors who have done this?
I don't know. That might not be a bad idea. I don't know.
Who's the contractor that you?
Woodruff has been,
Oh,
Woodruff
Woodruff,
did
yeah,
the
they-
last, and there was
You can
one.
recommend it. I don't know that they know, they just need, they can't physically move the sand. They have to get equipment to move it, so I'm sure
And so,
whoever.
Ellen, to that end, some people have, I talked to a guy just this week. He said, my son and I used to go out there and he said, I'm 76 years old. I'm not shoveling sand anymore. So, that does happen. And, we have to
The
be
sand, the
careful.
sand, like where Mr. Clifford's on, it is high.
Yeah.
It's like as tall as me up against the wall. It's really high.
This is, I'm going to tell you something that Joe Exel from the DNR told me. His theory on why this happened is in 2019, we had all the water came up, we had no ice protection. So all that sand, where did it go? He said that sand was stored out in the lake. And now with the water receding, he said his theory is that, and he's a coastal engineer. His theory is that sand is being churned up, dumped on the shore, then wind blown. And I said, well, Joe, I've lived here 62 years and I enjoy, you've been here your whole life. I've never seen this ever before.
And where they're doing it, if you look out, I live out there, I live on, there. You look out, there's an unbelievable sandbar. It goes 5-6 houses in length. Everyone's gonna be going out there. And the kids go out there on their little paddles and then they get out and they can stand in the middle of the lake.
We do, however, have pictures like in the 1920s and 30s in the historic room with sand all the way up to the hilltop at stop 23. And
Okay.
they're pushing it down with bulldozers.
They didn't have the DNR back then.
No.
Or you.
Okay, so next would be commission comments.
Got one.
Okay.
We've got, we have an issue where building permits, construction permits have a certain life to them. When you first apply.
Oh, you have to stay.
No. Yeah.
Thanks, Pat.
When you first apply, it's a year. You can apply for 4 months. I believe it is gratis, and you can get a 6-month extension. We have permits out there now that are a permit in particular that's well over 2 years old. I believe we should
I just told- I
require
just
that
told you.
permit to be renewed at the original cost.
You were over
Any
there.
discussions?
Did she tell you?
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Permit, length,
Hold on.
length of permits. We have the ordinance that we set, allows the first permit to be for 1 year. You can get an extension, I think, for 4 or 6 months, then you can get another one for 4 or 6 months. After that, you have to apply for a new permit. We have a particular one out there that's a pretty big one, that's just sitting idle, and maybe others, that we should require them to apply for a new permit and pay the permit fee. Anybody, any discussion?
Are you talking about people that take 5 years to build a house?
Yes,
Okay.
Right.
I agree.
I agree too.
Now, get it done.
What do our ordinances say now?
I'm sorry?
What do our ordinances say now?
He just.
That's what
stepped out
Pete
the
just
door.
was
Yeah,
talking
a year, then 4 months, and 6 months after that, you
They
get,
have to pay for each extension.
No,
no, if they apply at the right time, they can get the 4 and they can get the 6.
Yeah, but one of them's half the amount, right? That there is
I
a
think there is-
fee
I
for
don't
this.
know it
The
exactly.
6 month has a half the amount of the permit fee. This does remind,
That's right, 6 months is half the original fee, and then after that, it's a new fee. So technically, we've got some that owe us for 6 months plus a new fee.
and my caveat to that would be consistency, right? In an application of it, number one. And then two, it does remind me, as we were in COVID and coming out, that a contractor did mention that at some point, because of lags in supply chain, et cetera, that maybe you, as you're amending some of these other things, that you start to consider, or at least have some discretion,
About
Not-
stalling a permit?
or extending it, right? Or making it maybe the period a little bit longer of what they get. So that, because of the fairness, right? You might, a year, and you might not get cabinets, for instance, that. So that just reminded me, because that discussion was had, that as you're reviewing and updating the code, that maybe you want to build in, because those are hard deadlines, and sometimes there is a valid reason why you can't do it in a year, and then to whack somebody with a fee that is pretty hefty. And it is your prerogative to decide that with the town council and the APC, just for consideration.
Larry,
was
is there a
in-
way to flag them in iWorks at, 5.5 months or something? And
I'm sorry, say that again?
a way to flag the permits in iWorks?
I'd have to ask our iWork specialist here about that. I don't know, Honor. I think there's a lot of ways we can use iWorks, but we don't. I mean, there's Honor can probably look into that. Do you know, Honor, if that happens or? Okay. So I mean, I think there may be a way that Honor could get a report that says this permit's expiring in 30 days. What we have historically done is when a contractor or a homeowner submits a permit, we ask for start date and finish date. And when we approve permits, like after the permits that were approved today, we'll go in there, I don't know, depends on, we might go over the weekend or Monday or Tuesday, and we'll approve them. And we look at the permit and they said, we need 3 months. So then we put 3 months in there. As Pete said, I think our ordinance says, Pete, each permit is good for a year, doesn't it? So, we could just put a year from that date on each permit, and then maybe Honor can figure out. Yeah, I think so. In keeping with what Chris had said, and I think, I know you were on, Joy, Bob, and Pete were on too. During COVID, this isn't my building commissioner hat. This is my business hat. You could get windows in 3 to 5 weeks before COVID. In the height of COVID, they were 26 to 28 weeks. So we were a little more considerate. And so I think, as Pete said, if we should probably go back to, here's what our rules are, and just make it unilateral, right, Chris?
And you may want to build something in to update the code that says for good cause shown, right? And then make them go through and prove to you of showing you the efforts. We were given this, they were back ordered. That's a different one than just saying, spent 6 months in Costa Rica and we just didn't make decisions on the colors, right?
Well,
So-
and Honor can probably speak to this too. I think there are 3 or 4 homeowner residents that have had terrible experiences with contractors. They either walked off the job or they didn't do this. And, they come back to us and say, we don't know what we can do. We don't know what to do. And, but there's also people that take advantage of it. We had one, I can't remember the name, Anita, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. Their permit went from, we're going to do this and that, and they basically rebuilt their entire house. And I don't know if I'd say it snuck by us, but a $300,000 permit turned into probably a $2 million job. And it's not about money. People always seem to think that it's about the town wanting to get money. No, it's not about money. It's about making sure that you have inspections and making sure that, and I'm sure it's part of the assessor's situation is they want to know what's going on.
Okay, so if anybody has any idea of homes that might be forever homes, forever construction homes, let Honor know. I'll let her know the ones I know, and we'll move from there. Otherwise, we don't have a process for closing out a permit. It just stops.
And there might be something on iWork. We're gonna check
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah,
iWork might
I'll
have-
let that up to them, but
I think anything that's gonna take that long, I mean, the whole thing that needs to be done is communicate with us.
Right.
We've run into this, the contractor, you know, he's gone. We need to start, so we know that this is going for a certain amount of time because of, unbeknownst to them, these kinds of things happened. But, you know.
Well, and you
Careful
know,
who you pick.
that's a good point, Ellen. And what's happened with a couple of these that have been these stretched out jobs that really weren't the fault of the homeowner, I have asked them consistently, and Honor, I think, has too. Please send us a letter, tell us what happened and tell us the name of the contractor, because it's the only way. We can't just say, hey, this guy's no good.
Gotcha, yeah. They help us, let us know that, you know, these guys don't really have their act.
but those are the exceptions, and the exceptions around here are the ones that are killing us,
Yeah.
you know. It's the run-of-the-mill ones that
Yeah, we just passed 10 in
can do people.
one fell swoop.
Any other commission comments? Any public comments?
Get that one first.
No public comments? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Bob? Joy? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay? No nays? Thanks, everybody.